It is Love is Kind Day. Be kind. What do you think of my lashes? We'll talk more about it. All those in my Facebook group, you kind of know what this joke is all about. But really, we're keeping it real today. I just want you to know. Welcome.
Soulful means something that's heartfelt, deep and profound. To journey means to travel from one place to another. This show is about deep and heartfelt discussions about where we are, where we're headed, and where we've been. It's a place where we highlight memorable moments we've had. This show is about everything and everyone that is good for the soul.
Welcome to another edition of Soulful Journey. I am your hostess with the mostest, Venus Love Jones, and we are celebrating. We are celebrating today. Love is kind. And I know you're thinking, of course, love is kind. Well, everyone doesn't know that. And we are celebrating those who are independent from their abuser today. And we will begin by taking, well, we also started with some humor. I like to laugh at myself, but we are beginning also with breath as always. Today we'll be talking, I'll be sharing some poems that were inspired by survivors. And I will be giving you some tips if you are in peril and you are seeking of ways to get out of an abusive situation. But first, this show is a show that is good for the soul. We like to highlight everything and everyone who is good for the soul. And the first thing we always like to do is take a deep breath. So will you take it with me? Just at least one moment, because you deserve it. So here we go. Let's take a deep breath. Feel yourself breathing in and feel yourself breathing out. Without trying to control your pattern of breathing, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, and notice how every breath is different from the next. It's the same with life, ever changing and ever evolving. Whatever is going through your mind right now, you can't let it slip away. And just for this moment, we can come back to harmony because you are safe. You are accepted. You are forgiven. And you are loved. So right now I want to begin by letting you know that today is a chance for me to share a poem with you that I've been working on. And in 2012, I was working with a lot of different wise and wounded women. I had a project called Scarlet. And it was a project where I interviewed a lot of women who felt like they had a scar and they didn't mind telling me about that scar. It could have been a physical scar. It could have been an emotional scar because one of the projects that I'm so excited to share with you, eventually it's coming soon, is a project called Where the Light Enters You that I've been working on for, let me tell you how long, 11 years. 11 years I've been working on this project. And as I think about right now, all of the things that we went through in 2020, and I think about how long it takes to heal from things, it's still a subject that fascinates me. And when I was interviewing women, strong women, I mean, I'm talking like unsung sheroes that I like, I call female heroes, sheroes, if you already know about my book. I ran into a woman, her name was Sarah. And I interviewed her, and when I interviewed her, she had one of the most inspiring stories for me. When we talk about abusive situations, a lot of people ask the woman why she doesn't leave, but a lot of times we don't ask the abuser whether it be male or female, why they don't let that person go. But let's focus first on why she left. And this is a poem that I brushed up right before coming on today. And I wanted to read this to you. And because maybe you're asking the same thing, like, why do people stay in these kinds of relationships? Well, this was poem number 5, and I entitled it "Why She Left," and this is for Sarah. And she might be listening. She wanted to be on with me today, but she couldn't make it. But maybe she'll come back later, and her and I will have a courageous conversation about the strength that it takes to leave someone that you truly do love, but maybe they don't love you, the way that you deserve to be loved. And this is called "Why She Left." She said, "I had 2 torn tendons, a ruptured kidney, the 7th month when he punched me. In the stomach, pissing blood, the free clinic, beyond the flood, no emotion. Matter of fact, first scan was a cat. I just pretended I didn't know. Internal bruises when he said, I gotta go." But that's the lie. It's reoccurring, it's ongoing. Deny, deny. The emergency, the double dare. No one is practicing self-care. Put the abuser or enabler first. Protect yourself from the next hearse, from the boys in blue. When he said, "You're mine," like his drug, and he drug her, like it's true. When love hurts, it should cause alarm. When you're staring at a broken arm, he broke it in the exact same place, shattering her illusion, shattering her face. When an orange bucket flew against her head, she remembered. It was time to tell. It was telling. It was time to tell. To live to tell, it was telling. When she was almost dead. But we are celebrating, and she is alive. She is alive to tell her story today, and she had the courage and transparency to share it with me, a poet. We went to school together, and if you don't know, I went to Mills College, which is a school that I went to because I was still trying to find my voice, right? And when I was in high school, I actually wanted to go to Spelman. And if you don't know, Spelman is a women's college in Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up watching A Different World, and A Different World was a show about a character who went to an HBCU, and she was not the ideal student, and neither was I. But in the real world, you had to have really, really good grades to get into Spelman. And I didn't make it in. But again, we know that some people these days, do buy their children in, but I didn't have those kind of parents who could do that. But my point is that I am a product of other sheroes, people who helped inspire me, and just being around other female voices can be empowering. And if you are someone, before I even, if you're still watching, because I know this show might be triggering for some, so I give you credit for pushing through it if you are watching the show. And if you need to take another breath with me, please do, because you are still here. And, abuse can come in a lot of different forms. It's not always physical, but we need to be in a place of acceptance. And not just acceptance of where we are, but acceptance of who we are. And one of my most profitable poems was called Heavy, and it's in the book She Rose, where I talk about really short poem. And it helped me. This has always been something that's really close to my heart, which is domestic violence, and just wanting to help people get out into healthy relationships. Because when I was 14, a good friend and dear adopted brother of mine, who passed away trying to protect his own mother from abuse. And unfortunately, how I became a poet is because I was a witness to the loss of a dear friend and family member to abuse. So this day, when I found out about it, I didn't even know about it until like last week. But again, I want us to celebrate people who are going through or who are coming out of unhealthy situations, because you deserve to be celebrated. And those of us who are in healthier relationships, it's our job and our duty to remind people what love looks like, because some of us don't always know. And so this show is really about that. And I wanted to give you some tips, at least one or two tips of when you're thinking about asking yourself, do I need help? Or should I move on? One of the most important things I when I was writing that poem that really stuck with me was when she said it had happened over and over again, but there just came a moment in a time where she said enough is enough. And you don't want to wait until you're almost dead to leave a situation. It's really important to know if you feel like I posted in our Facebook group, someone is good for your soul whenever you leave them, you feel better, or when you're around them, you just feel lighter. But if you're ever cringing or going into a situation, you should know that that's like a warning sign, like a red flag, when you feel like you are not welcomed in the room, or if you feel like you have to tiptoe around someone. That's probably not a good, it's not a good sign that you're in a loving relationship. They say love is kind. Some people say, well, you know what? I don't know, because I feel like I know you think, well, love does hurt sometimes, right? Love it's a struggle. If you don't have self-acceptance, though, like somebody can say all kinds of things to you, but if you don't love yourself, it's just key to know what that looks like. So I wanted to do another poem for you, because I have so many poems on this subject, and this was another poem. I didn't want to do two heavy poems back to back, but I want to think about, before you get into what's the worst situation you can get into sometimes is when you get into a situation where you don't know someone that well, but you end up in a situation where you are staying because of children, right? So when I wrote this poem, I Need a Man, I was really thinking of one of my sisters, right? And I'll just recite this poem for you in celebration of people who are still in situations, but they're still not really always sure if the person that they're with is really practicing self-care. Because if someone really loves you, if they don't love themselves, somebody said they don't love you. And Maya Angelou said that. She was like, she really questioned somebody who doesn't have a coat on, but they're offering you one and saying it's cold, in other words, right? So it's just a disconnect. But if someone is working on self-love and they're working on it with you and you see it in their actions, and that may be somebody you want to keep. But if you feel like somebody is telling you that they love you, but they're not practicing self-love and self-care, it's a sign. This poem is called I Need a Man. I can do bad by myself. I don't need anybody else. I work day and night and day to pay the bills of yesterday, but it's okay. And it's all right, because I can make wrong right without a fight. But understand that I need a complete companion, someone who is down for the grand haul. I'm talking about that person who will pick me up when I fall. What you want isn't what you say. Your actions speak louder than your words on any given day, but you're going to play me like the fool anyway. When I gave you my love and I gave you my time, but you can't spare a dime. No, it's not your lack of funds, but your dead spirit. That's what has me on the run, and I don't have room for dead weight. Since day one, I set it straight. So why can't you come real, come correct? Is it that you're not ready yet? Now, if you would have told me up front, I would have understood that you were a boy on the threshold of manhood. But now I must question if it was all just for show. That's right. I'm getting out this game. But it's a shame. It's a shame that I no longer feel the same. Because my baby still cries out your name. I'm a single mother and I'm doing all I can. But I don't need a boy to help me raise his son. I need a man. And I wanted to share that poem today because last week I did a poem called Are You a Good Man? Right? Because really, when you're in the beginning of a relationship, there are some questions. Like again, in this one, what I like about that poem, the line in there that I feel like is also telling, is when she says, "I told you up front." So you can give someone a chance, but you teach someone how to honor and respect you. And respect is the key word. Trust is another key word. And when you feel like trust and respect is broken, it may not look like real love, and it may not be, no, let me just say not, it's just not. Because there's things that love just does not do. And I really do know that for sure. You can have it's kind of like if you have someone who is working on it, right? They're working on this thing. That's why they say you may not be ready. You just may not be ready for a relationship if you're still working on yourself. But I still say you can work with someone if they're going in the same direction as you. But if they're not, that's not love. So you have to tell people what you will put up, and then your word has to be bond, because you have to be able to trust yourself. If you say you're going to be that this is it, and if I told you up front that this is what I'm going to do, and then I see that you did something, you went another way. Now, as they say, the contract is broken, right? You have to honor yourself and honor your word if you want someone else to respect you. This is how people leave unhealthy relationships, is because of self-acceptance and self-love and compassion. And if we don't have compassion for ourselves, we can't expect others to have compassion for us. Can I get an ashe? Can I get an a woman? Amen. Yes, because this is what it's all about. And I want to help someone who might be listening. Sometimes I can't always reach everyone I want to reach, but if you're that one person who needs to hear this message right now, and you still are in a situation where you're like, well, I don't know how everybody else did it. I don't know how. I'm struggling. because maybe you feel like, well, I can't because of financial situations. If you reach out, someone else will always reach back, but you have to know to reach out at a specific time. One of my sisters I saw, she was showing how even when you go to a bar nowadays, which is a beautiful thing, and sometimes I'm seeing them on the back of bathroom stalls, there's numbers you can call. You have to keep an eye out. There's drinks you can even order now. If you are in danger, you can go to the bar and maybe order a drink that, and you can ask around and about questions like this. But I also want to give out a number that you may not know about, which is the National Domestic Violence line, which is 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-SAFE. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention if you don't know about that. So I will go ahead and put that in the chat. And I just want you to know that help is always there if you need it. Is there any questions that anybody has for me? Because I know that this is just a day that I wanted to really dedicate to survivors and those who are seeking to truly survive. And I think that I want to just end there if, we can, and then let you know that next week I'm going to be talking a little bit about what a good friend looks like. It's because sometimes we forget what that is too, right? A good girlfriend. What does that look like? But I just if you are interested, and you sometimes what has helped me a lot, because I've been married 21 years, but before that, I was in some abusive relationships. Let me come all the way clean. Okay. I didn't always, know what was best for me because I was young, right? I was younger. I was not really always certain of my values, but if I can get you to write down what your values are, and that is key. And if your health is truly your wealth, then, consider affirmations. I have a new site that I'm working on, and where you can, if this has been valuable to you, you can buy me a coffee, right? So you can go to buymeacoffee.com / Venus Love Jones, and what I have put on there is some of the best prompts that have helped me on my journey right now, and what I'm journaling with. Sometimes when journaling in a journal can help. Make sure that your journal is in a place that you feel is sacred, or where only where it is if you feel like you're in danger. But if you really want to do this work to help get your mindset just right and strong enough to leave, journaling can help. And some of my favorite prompts I've put on that website. And someone says here, a very important point, abuse is not always physical. It can be emotional and mental. Yes, that's why it's so important to get your mindset just right and better through journaling. And I put some of those on there. And also, if you're in a position and you feel free to know also that my book, She Rose, on a Journey from Girl to Goddess, again, it was created for a day like this. And it's at just the $5 pledge, you can get the entire book for my gift to you. Is this where you can listen to it, and it will give you strength. I take you through the mind, the body, and the spirit. And you can find that at patreon.com / Venus Love Jones, and that's PATREON, and you can become a patron today. Even at the $1 level. So I just wanted to share some of these resources that I've been amping up. I'm also helping with customized affirmations that maybe you want to listen to. If you like my voice, you can listen to it in your ear and give you courage. I'm available for that too, as well as some discovery calls. So just if you are just want someone to talk to more, feel free to visit venusjones.com and hit contact me, and I will be at your service. She wrote at your service. So I want you to remember to keep looking up, and I want you to remember to keep looking out, because when you do, there is a lot less fear and a lot less doubt. So please keep the faith, and I'll see you next week.